So I am going to explain a story in one of my books named An Alien Hand. The name of the story is The Bear Story, written by Axel Manthe. There was once a lady who lived in an old house near the border of a big forest. So it's telling that there lived a lady near the border of the forest. So this lady had a pet bear which she was very fond of. The lady had a pet bear which she loved. She was very fond of her. Then it had been found in the forest, half dead of hunger, so helpless and small that it had to be brought up on the bottle by the lady and the old cook. So the lady found that bear half dead because of hunger. He was starving. He was so small. At that time, he was small and also helpless, that no one was ready to help him. He was going to die. So the lady and the old cook who worked in the lady's house took him to their house. So this was several years ago, and now it had grown up to a big bear, so strong that he could have slain a cow and carried it away with his two paws if he wanted to. So now he has grown up. Obviously, like a bear, he would have also been strong. So he had so much power that he could actually carry a bear with his paws. But if he wanted to. But he did not want to. He was a most amiable bear who did not dream of harming anybody, man or beast. So the bear was very lovely and friendly. He didn't want to harm any human or any wild animals. So he used to sit outside his pet house and looked with his small intelligent eyes most amicably at the cattle grazing in the field nearby. So it shows that there is also a place where they had kept cattle. It's a field. So he always looked there. Means he was fond of it. So then the three shaggy mountain ponies in the stable knew him well and did not mind in the least when he shuffled into their stable with his mistress. So the place where they lived. So it is stable. That place where the three ponies lived. They did not mind the bear would come meet them. They knew the bear well. So they didn't have any problem. The three dogs loved to play all sorts of games with him, pull his ears and his stump of a tail and tease him in every way. But he did not mind in the least. So the dogs means here it was mentioned that the ponies, they are the same as the dogs. So they went, played with the bear. They used to tease him by pulling his tail, jumping on his tail, and all those things. But the bear didn't mind it, as he was very friendly. He had never tasted meat. He ate the same food as the dogs, and often out of the same plate. He ate bread, porridge, potato, cabbage, turnip. So in this they are telling that he has never tasted meat. So he is a vegetarian, he is a herbivore even after being a bear. So he ate bread, porridge, potato, cabbage, turnip, etc. He had a fine appetite. His appetite was very good. So it is like he is a vegetarian, he does not eat meat. Meat is not good for health. So his appetite is very fine. Then the cook also checked that he got his food finally, means to fulfill his desire, the food he got. So this was what his cook checked. Bears are vegetarians if they have a chance, and fruit is what they like the best. So they are telling if bears get a chance, they can also be a vegetarian. The most favorite food they will like if they are a vegetarian is fruits. So in the autumn, he used to sit and look with wistful eyes at the ripening apples in the orchard. And in his young days, he had been sometimes unable to resist the temptation to climb the tree and help himself to a handful of them. So when he was young, so the writer is now telling that the bear loved eating apples. He looked at the uh, apple tree with sparkling eyes. So, when he was young, he was not able to resist his temptation, and he climbed up the tree and bought a handful of the apples. So, now bears look clumsy and slow in their movements. But try a bear with an apple tree, and you will soon find out that he can beat any schoolboy at that game. So it's telling that bears are really fond of apple. They can they can do very fast movements for it. So now he had learned that it was against the law. But he kept his small eyes wide open for any apples that fell to the ground. He loved apples, so whenever any apple fell down, he would take it. Then he had been punished for this by being put on chain for 2 days with a bleeding nose, and he had never done it again. So when he bought those handful of apples when he was young, he was punished by putting a chain around his neck for 2 days. And I think the writer has also beaten him because his nose was hurt and it was bleeding. Otherwise, he was never put on chain except for that one. So he was also put on the chain on Sundays when his mistress went to spend the afternoon with her married sister who lived in a solitary house on the other side of the mountain lake, a good hour's walk through the dense forest. So the writer means the mistress. She also went in every Sunday she would go to her married sister's house in the solitary house, which was on the other side of the mountain lake. And she thought it is a good work, means it is nice to walk around a bit. So now, it was not supposed to be good for him to wander about in the forest with all his temptations. It was better to be on the safe side. He was also a bad sailor and had once taken such a fright at a sudden gust of wind that he had upset the boat, and he and his mistress had to swim to the shore. Now, he knew quite well that it meant when his mistress put him on the chain on Sundays with a friendly tap on his head and promise of an apple on her return if she had been good during her absence. So, it is saying he meant the bear. So, the bear was a very bad sailor. Whenever he sat on the boat would sink. And the last time when he did that, the mistress and the bear had to swim to the other side of the lake. So that's why she kept him on chains on Sundays afternoon. Then she also promised that she would bring apples for the bear if he was behaving well the whole day. He was sorry but resigned, like a good dog. When his mistress tells him he cannot come with her for a walk. So the mistress told that I will only go to my sister's house, so I can't take you with me. So even though the bear felt a bit sad, still he accepted his
Offer.
owner's desire. So one Sunday, when the lady had chained him up as usual and was halfway through the forest, she suddenly thought she had heard the cracking of a tree branch on the winding footpath behind her. So, when she was going, I told you that her sister's house was near, the way to her sister's house was in a forest. So, she was walking through the forest and she heard a winding footpath behind her. She looked back and was horrified to see the bear coming along full speed. She thought that it was her pet bear who was coming towards her with full speed. Bears look as if they move along quite slowly, but they shuffle along much faster than a trotting horse. They are faster than a horse if you see, when they want something. In a minute, he had joined her, panting and sniffing, to take up his usual place, dog fashion, and his heels. So this is what the lady wore, dog fashion and heels. bear recognized her. The lady was very angry. She was already late for the lunch at her sister's place. There was no time to take the bear back home. She did not want him to come with her, and besides, it was very naughty of him to have disobeyed her. So the mistress got very angry as she was already late for her lunch, and she had no time to leave the bear at home. She has to go again back, right? That's why. Huh. Then she told him in her severest voice to go back at once. So she means in a rough voice, mean in an angry voice, she told the bear to go back home. When the lady saw that uh, that he had even lost his new collar. Collar means the jewelry they wear in their necks. So she got still more angry and hit him on the nose with her parasol so hard that it broke into two. Parasol here meant umbrella. So when she hit the umbrella on the bear's nose, she hit it so hard that the umbrella broke into two halves. Then uh, he stopped again, shook his head, and opened his big mouth several times as if he wanted to say something. Means he opened his mouth again and again that he wanted to say something to the mistress. Then he turned around and began to shuffle back the way he had come, stopping now and then to look at the lady till at last she lost sight of him. When he started going back, and still he looked back as he was looking at the lady. Still, he still looked back, and until he lost the sight of the lady. Then, when the lady came back home in the evening, the bear was sitting in his usual place outside his kennel, looking very sorry for himself. The lady was still very angry. She went up to him and began to scold him most severely and said he would have to be chained for 2 more days. The old cook, who loved the bear as if he had been her son, rushed out of the kitchen very angrily. So when the lady came back, the bear was sitting at his usual place, feeling sorry for himself. Then the lady was still very angry and went to scold the bear. She scolded the bear very angrily, and the bear became very sad. So the cook came from the kitchen, who loved the bear as it was her own son. Then she was very angry. Then she told her missus, what are you scolding him for, missus?
Why are you?
What are you scolding him?
Okay.
किस काम के लिए उसको?
Okay.
Said the cook. He had been good as gold the whole day. Bless him, he had been sitting here quite still on his haunches, as meek as an angel, looking the whole time towards the gate for you to come back. So here the cook is telling that he was sitting here for the whole time. He didn't even go outside. So why did you scold him? The mistress actually realized that it was not his pet bear. It was actually some other bear in the forest which she had hit. So the other bear got scared of the mistress and ran away. So this was the story, and that's why the cook got angry and told that mistress, what are you scolding him for? He didn't do anything wrong. He was sitting as meek as an angel here. So why did you scold him? Hearing this, the mistress actually got shocked. So this was the story.
About